right? Let us see. See, the traditional SDLC where you code and then you do a testing will not be in most cases applicable for SOA for the following reasons. A SOA can have web services. In a most extreme case, a SOA can comprise only of web services. So in that case, we know that web services do not have a very elaborate UI. So that is challenge 1. Challenge 2, if suppose I have a web service which gives me the stock details of a particular stock, that web service is not working out of the blue. It is referring to either NSE website or BSE website. So some services are dependent on some external resources to complete the business process. So that challenge is there. I can assure that my web service is working correctly, but how will I assure that NSE site or BSE site is not down for some reason, right? And then these web services which are mostly a part of SOA test will be dynamically changing, and they will be difficult to predict how many people will use it. So performance testing becomes a challenge, and we know that web services are platform and language independent. So I have a web service which actually is developed using .NET. I have a web service which is developed using Java, and I can put all of them together under a single SOA architecture. So coming up with a common test methodology like how we do with a normal SDLC based development project, like using QTP or Selenium, which follows a standard pattern of testing, is not possible here for these reasons. Is this clear? Okay. Now, proceeding forward, the other reason for a SOA that has a lot of web service, you have web service testing there, which becomes very challenging because they are loosely coupled. You will think that okay, component A is working, so component B and C will work. Not necessary. It is applicable to SDLC type projects but not to SOA projects. Because like I said, the problem of one component will not affect another component because they are all loosely coupled. Okay, and I can have a web service which is working at my place, and I can have another web service at my client place which will interact with my web service. They are distributed across a large environment. And like I pointed out earlier, each web service can have a different language and platform in which they are developed. And coming up with a common test methodology for all of them is a very big challenge. Okay. So now let us have a look on how to test a web service, which is a primary component in most service-oriented architectures. See, with web service, doing end-to-end testing, like by sending a SOAP request with inputs and checking if the output is got, is one way of testing. For that, you need to use a tool like SOAP UI, right? Another one, if you have a composite service which comprises of multiple number of individual services, you have to start testing each and every individual service first. So it is like individual components make a complete part, like that. So if the individual component services are working fine, then that means it is highly likely that my composite service will work fine, right? And the next thing is interface by interface test. We know that we have seen that for having a SOA architecture with web services, they should have a very simple and common way of getting integrated. So that integration interface should be tested, whether it is the same across all the services or not. If at all web services communicate with each other, how they communicate, how many communication points do they have? All these things are tested directly or indirectly by a tool like SOAP-UI. Right? So the problem here is you have a tool like SOAP-UI which will help you to do all this. Now, the question is, who owns the test responsibility of integration and interoperability? If I put my web service today in Linux environment, it should work. Tomorrow, who is going to take responsibility if it will work on a Windows environment? Right? That is a big question here. Right? Right. So now, this is where you need a solid model which will have a solid set of deliverables which will avoid these kind of confusions. You should have a formal test planning where you prepare a formal test plan or test strategy, and you should have all the analysis and requirement documents, and prepare a requirement traceability document which will actually allow you to trace back to your requirements. And you should have formal test cases, test scripts using SOAP-UI, and test data and test logs in place. And you should fix the exit criteria and reporting methods. And you should also see some test closure activities which will allow you to see what went wrong and how did things go. The question here is, a service-oriented architecture is highly likely to be made up of components that are web services which facilitate them to be loosely coupled, because we have seen already when we saw the introduction to web service that web services are highly independent of each other. So they are very good candidates for SOA architecture. But the question is how this particular architecture is going to be tested. That is the question. That is where the SOA test plan comes into picture. Today I'm just going to show you a simple diagram of a sample SOA architecture. We will see more about this SOA test plan and testing in tomorrow's session. So here an entire service is abstracted by individual services, okay, and the services are going to be in a separate compartment. They are going to be covered, and whenever this composite service is called for, these services are combined together through a business process and they are offered, right? So the challenge here is these services has to be tested first, and the services do not have a fixed UI, and the services can be of any type of design because they allow heterogeneity here. They can be designed on any platform, they can be of any type. So how will your test plan change? How will your test case change? That is what we are going to see.